Mr. Harold Kaune is also joining us online. Ms. Josephine Soroses is online, I believe. Mr. David Chombe, I think he will be joining us. Oh, Mr. Chombe, you are there. Welcome, sir. And then Mr. Kevin Adams. So that is our Board of Trustees, and they are responsible for the governing aspects and all the ethical aspects of the fund. I would just want us to give them applause, please. Now I want to take you through the claims by discipline. The reason why we first ran you through the industry overview is for you to appreciate how the fund fits in. So what I'm going to present is fund specific, but we would like you to relate it to the industry because we are all part of the same puzzle. So the claims by discipline when it comes to the fund, you can see that the biggest chunk goes to private hospitals. Private hospitals, 32%, followed by medical specialists, 24%. Now, and then obviously pharmacists, 90%, and general practitioners, 10%. I just want to take a pause here. Tian has actually emphasized on this already when it comes to the industry. If we look at the medical specialists, 24%, compare it to the general practitioners, 10%. And I want to believe that we have more general practitioners in this country, more than the specialists. Now, if we could make use of the general practitioners more than the medical specialists, will actually change this picture and also change the picture, the overall picture of the fund operations. Currently, this cost is very high and is unsustainable. So as we go into next year, hopefully we take this into consideration and try to use more of general practitioners for illnesses and which are not so serious. Because currently what we see at the fund is we see trends where we see specialists and that specialist, refer you to another specialist and another specialist. So you see a lot of referrals from one specialist to another. And that depletes the fund and depletes your benefits. We see a lot of members mid-year, the benefits are already depleted, and that's because we are not actually managing our benefits properly, or maybe sometimes we are made to actually use our benefits once the specialists are actually just telling us, you need to do this test, you need to do this test, without us interrogating as to why the particular test need to be performed. The next one is membership by product. Again, this is a picture really that is kind of depressing, if I can say that, on the part of the fund. We see a lot of membership in the lower options. Obviously, when it comes to the members, we understand, because this is informed by affordability. And again, it's because of the situation we are in, the economic downtown, things are bad out there, and we do understand. But if we need to keep the fund to really sustain it at levels where we are comfortable that our health will be taken care of, we need also to kind of change this picture. So we have the majority of our members currently Esteem Care, 28%, followed by Caliber Care, 25%, Evolve Care, 21%, and you have the upper options like the Prestige and Status with 7% and 3% respectively. So what this means really is that, as I mentioned, that affordability is an issue with most of the members that we understand. However, members sitting in those options, sometimes they really have real medical aid needs that require more benefits, which are unfortunately available only at higher options. So for those members that can afford higher options, we encourage that they move to those higher options to help us maintain the fund. As I mentioned earlier, our financials are audited annually. So the 2021 financial year was audited, obviously after Prognosis did the analysis, and we also have the provisional results for year to date up to September, which is completed. Total fund asset, cash and investments. This picture is very much in line with what Tiaan has presented. We see ourselves, I think, for the first time in 5 years, that we are below, just above 300,000. We are now at 304 million, which is below what 2018. If you look at 2018, we were at 306 million, and this year, in 5 years, this is the first time we are seeing that we have actually dropped down to that level. It's not bad. We are still actually doing well. 304 million is quite still a good picture to be in, but we would not want it to go further than that. Contributions versus claims ratio. This is the very first time that we are finding ourselves in such a situation. 104%, very depressive. But again, this is in line with the industry, is in line with the economy. Unfortunately, I think in terms of our fund specific, we are doing better comparatively, but still, this is not where we want to be. And as I said, we can change this picture if we just change our behaviors and probably also just try to take care of the fund as well as we take care of our health. The solvency ratio at 3.8. Last year, I think it was really good to announce that, we can still go 4 years, and a half years or so, and we are still good. This has now dropped to 3.8, from 5 to 4, and now it's 3. And we really just hope that next year things will turn around, that we don't go below a solvency ratio of 2, for example, because you'd want to be so comfortable that if anything happens, that we still have enough money in the kitty to take care of the bad times. Like we had, actually, in the previous years, that we had to really borrow from the kitty to help our members to go through the depressive situations, environment, yeah. Reserve level, we are now sitting at 29. Tiaan has already elaborated on this one. This is not actually our fund appetite at all. We have had very good reserve ratios in the past, in the 40s actually, and then it went right from 40 to 29. Even though we are still above the NAMFISA benchmark of 25, we still don't want to be too close to the benchmark. But one thing about this reserve level, and that is something that we should credit the trustees, is that they made a decision at a point when things were good to actually maintain a high reserve level, not to the dissatisfaction of NAMFISA, but our trustees were adamant to say that this is our appetite and we want to have, this much reserve for us to keep in times of bad times, as if they knew that there will be COVID and the economy will kind of break down to the point it did. And that really helped, because what happened in the past 20 COVID years is that we then had to use those reserves to help our members to go through this period. So 29, yes, not our appetite, as I said, but it's still above NAMFISA benchmark, and we at least want to keep it still above the NAMFISA benchmark. And that was my last slide. Thank you very much, Madam Director of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Madam P.O., as we refer to her. It's undeniably difficult times for the industry and the fund. The product review process is an exercise that starts very early in the year. During this exercise, a number of factors are considered, like your claims utilization, your medical inflation, and all these factors are actually considered to determine the new product and the new increases for the new year. I need to admit that the 2023 review was one of the most difficult ones for me personally, because I came to realize that the medical aid industry or the landscape has completely changed. The industry is going through very difficult times, and it can no longer be business as usual. And at this juncture, please let us welcome Mr. Bertus Troewig to give us the 2023 highlights.
Especially our veterans on the board, Mr. Benny Mwene, Mr. Peter Katzmeyer, and Mr. Chombe. It is those veterans that we need in time of crisis. You know, we are very quickly to put people on retirement, and then when the electricity goes off, we don't understand why. Now, I think you'll realize that at RMA, the power will be on always, because we make sure that we have a well-balanced mix between veterans and our new leaders coming in. Mr. Chairman of the board, Madam P.O., the rest of the board members, there's a saying that a relationship is as strong as its last storm it went through. Now this board that we have, you know, the last election was a virtual election. In fact, the board came into office during the start of the corona period. This board, now going into 3 years, didn't have one day without challenges. You know, I think that if a relationship, and the relationship that Prosperity enjoys with the RMA board, if the relationship can be so good in times of crises, I really look forward to the honeymoon period when there's no more crises. So Mr. Chair, you and your board, Madam P.O., you know, we couldn't ask for a better board in time of crisis. And to our veterans, and Mr. Katzmeyer, it was great having you here to do the welcoming. But I also know Mr. Katzmeyer is the financial specialist on the board for many years. There's only one thing that makes him lie awake or sleep well, and that is finances and reserves. And the fact, Mr. Katzmeyer, that you did the opening today is probably you lying awake because of the reserves. But thank you very much for that. To the Prosperity executive staff, you are a unique team of people. I think my life in the time of 30 years in medical aid is made special by people like yourself. It gives us purpose in what we do. The industry, and I think Tiaan and Madam P.O. focus on the industry where we are. And I don't think we realize how bad things are. And I just want to give you a glimpse before I go into the product. Only 9% of our population is on private medical cover. Only 9%. That 9% finance more than 6 billion Namibian dollars a year for private healthcare costs. Tiaan was saying, you know, a couple of years back we had 30, under 100 specialists. Now we nearly have 300 specialists. It's the same potjie kos. More people are eating from it. It's going to go empty. I think our government must make a rule that if we build another private hospital, if you open up a practice, you need to give shareholding to the medical aid, because it's the medical aid that is making sure that Namibia today has one of the best healthcare services infrastructure on this continent. It's a 6 billion Namibian dollars of Namibian insured members that is financing healthcare. You know, at our evacuation company, we sold in the beginning of the year our last plane because we don't fly patients to South Africa anymore. That is the reality. Everything is done in Namibia, which is wonderful. But the cost is not sustainable. Corona has cost us 100 million. And it's amazing. People, we get so excited and we get nervous and we lock ourselves down for a natural pandemic, which costs us 100 million.